Know it, so just keep telling me about the different Italian regions. You were going...
Okay, all right, I'll start over again.
Okay, good.
Okay. I've been on the Italian market since I was, let's say, 10 years old, okay?
Where were you before?
Pardon?
Where were you before?
I was with my parents, but the thing is, this is my godfather's place here, okay? And I started sweeping the floors. And so I was working quite young. At the same time, I had the ability of, let's say, being introduced to different ethnic groups here. Mm-hmm. But the majority was more cultured, was Italians. Mm-hmm. And some Irish, blacks. It was a mix, yeah. But the majority was Italian. But the Italians now had different dialects and they have different regions. Yeah. But the more so dialects that were spoken here were the Abruzzese, Calabrese, and the Sicilian, because back in Italy, in the day, let's say during the Second World War, after the Second World War, I can tell you from my grandmother and grandfather, they came to the country looking for opportunity because they were just plainly farm peasants and they didn't have the money. I could, let's say, base that the same as, let's say, you have Mexicans coming here, migrating here,
Irish.
And the Irish migrating.
Yeah.
In the same principle, it was the same way. Cultures moved for the American dream.
Yeah.
Okay? And growing up, okay, South Philadelphia, I can say, was a world in its own. Okay? I didn't even know that there was a North Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, yeah. Okay? Because South Philly was so contained and it was just a world in its own.
Yeah.
I can say another thing, that as a kid, we were in poverty.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And I remember, hey, look, I had sneakers that I wore out and I had holes under and I used to put cardboard in them. For the simple reason is that, hey, I didn't want to get my feet burned up.
Yeah, yeah.
We used to have different games that we used to play, and it was like very social between interacting with kids, let's say, and we would have different games that we would play. Especially we used to play with a pimple ball. Yeah. Okay, and that pimple ball, once the air got out of it because it went dead on you, you used to cut it in half and play half ball. Okay?
That's a Philadelphia trait.
That's a Philadelphia trait, right. Yeah. But we also had other games that people don't even know. We used to pitch baseball cards against the wall. And we used to flip them against the wall, and if it stood up and somebody knocked it down, we would take their baseball card. We used to pitch coins against the wall. We used to have so many different. We used to play jailbreak. We used to play buck. Okay? I can give you a whole line of things. We used to dead box. We used to play slide ball. Okay? We invented in South Philadelphia the scooter. Okay? Because we used to take old roller skates that we used to have with a key. They used to be roller skates they used to extend, and we used to put them on our sneakers. They used to wrap around on your sneakers, and you had a key that you wore around your neck, and that key used to adjust the skate. Now once that skate used to break, we used to put it on a piece of 2x4, bang some old nails on it, put an old Abbott milk box on it, and we used to have the first scooter. And then we used to decorate that scooter with bottle top, Coke, 7-Up bottles. We were innovative.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there it is. South Philadelphia, I could tell you so much about it. I could write a book on it.
You should.
I could, because I was, let's say, really involved. Okay, that's what my kids and other kids don't have today. Okay, the involvement. They lost all social skills.
Yeah.
They're on the computer texting now. Okay, and they're walking around on the phone.
Yeah.
The interaction, though, isn't there.
Yeah.
Like the social skill is not there.
Yeah.
Okay? We used to be involved.
Yeah.
We'd get up in the morning, get together, and it used to be like Our Gang comedy. You ever watch that show?
Yeah, yeah.
We used to watch Our Gang, and that, the Dead End Kids.
Yeah.
And that's basically how we were. It was, let's say, it was a thrill growing up. And I go back to it, and I can't even explain to my kids how it was, because they have no understanding of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I have to say, and let's say going along with the cultures, because my father, he was involved in construction, he had a contracting business, and he would have different ethnic groups that he would hire, and they would be mainly Sicilians or Italian. And basically, he was a Roman and from Frosinone, Romano. And so I used to listen to the Italian speaking, and they would speak Italian, but they would have different words. And so like the Calabrese would be a different dialect, the Sigis would be different dialect, and and I would say, wow, how come they speak differently? You know what I mean? So, but it was imprinted in me to learn, and I used to ask.
Yeah.
I was involved. Remember, I was involved. And so, like now, I still carry that trade on.
Yeah.
All right? And the heritage of my grandfather, making wine, super sod, doing prosciutto, we used to make that homemade. I still do that. I still do that. It's right here. Look at it. See? This is super sod, which I made this year. But I love making my wine. You know what I call my wine? And it's my logo. So if anybody ever tries to take it, this is my logo. Wine, like water, is the fluid of life. Okay? But wine is the fluid of love.
Yes, it is. Okay, okay.
So there it is. But so there's so many things. And you know, I'm here sitting today speaking to you and trying to be a little bit informative about my upbringing, my culture. And at the same time, how can I, let's say, really pass that on? Okay? It's getting lost. I see it, and it's getting lost. But still, there's a chance. So I hope that this interview here, okay, is going to give you a little basis of, let's say, what life's about and what culture's about. I thank you.